Something that you've done in the week. It's been an eventful week.
Everybody, I repeat, everybody has coronavirus.
This is a recording from the future,
Which is strange because I did say about 10 minutes ago we weren't going to talk about coronavirus.
Did you predict this?
Coronavirus?
Yeah. Is it like your
no.
Nostradamus moment?
No.
Because there are things that say that this virus is going to come along in 2020, and then it's going to go away as soon as it arrived.
I should hope so.
I think
everyone's shitting.
Whoever wrote that massively overestimates the power of the NHS.
Well,
quite clearly.
Yeah.
We're not finding a virus for this thing. I think it's paracetamol.
I got some over there.
What if it's like something really simple? Maybe the cure for coronavirus.
Just got a cold.
Yeah. Well, people are dying, and that's sad. But I think the real cure is that they should all listen to the Two Tickets podcast.
I think the real cure is love and affection. Lots of hugs. Exactly the opposite of what you should do.
Yeah, that's true. You shouldn't hug anyone.
Listen, 4 updates about the coronavirus. We're the wrong people to go to. Because we're just consistently
I'm
judged
not sure.
by
I reckon we could update people. As an informant and spokesperson for the Two Tickets podcast, I would like to say that we are continuing until the government tell us not to. Even when they tell us that going outside is only for something necessary, we will continue to do the Two Tickets podcast for all of you who want to listen to us in the shower.
Correct.
Which nicely segues into this episode.
I don't know if it does.
How have you been, Dan? How's your week?
Yeah, fantastic. Other than the sort of everyone freaking out around us.
Yeah. Well, we came back, didn't we? Which is
yeah.
was a massive
Whoa!
advantage,
This has been recorded 5 days after the last episode was uploaded.
I know it's crazy.
Saying that puts pressure on me to get this out ASAP.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
editor.
that's new for us.
That is.
This
I would almost call us consistent.
episodes are never this close together. It's crazy.
No, they're not. It's because we all know that the impending doom is coming, and we want to make as many podcasts as we possibly can.
Well, that actually is a nice segue into what we want to firstly talk about in this episode, is the future plans for this podcast and channel as a whole. Now, we are looking to expand off of YouTube onto other platforms. We're trying to get a podcast host right now so we can get it onto Spotify and iTunes and all that, which we will be doing very soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But we also want to expand more to doing more than just the podcast. We want to do more content on the Two Tickets channel.
Yeah, like an OnlyFans account.
And the link
link below.
I was not expecting that. No, OnlyFans is not coming.
It's the only way we'll make money out of this.
Well, maybe. We'll think about it. But we want to start doing episodes as sort of deep dives into different films. Our favourite films.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the script, prior scripts, sort of backstage stuff.
Yeah.
About the film.
We're gonna go into detail because obviously we did make an episode talking about our favourite films, but it was almost 2 hours long, which is, for want of a better word, painstaking.
Yeah, it's too long to listen to us.
Yeah, I think a shorter, more concise version of our very eloquent selves would be much more appealing to the larger audiences.
Casting, dream casting, who we thought would be better in roles, all that kind of stuff, and that could be solo videos.
Yeah,
because if we can't get together and we want to put something out, then we're going to record something by ourselves. That would probably be the deep dives. Yeah, I don't think there'll be anything else that's going to be by ourselves. It'll just be those.
No, we can't possibly be apart.
Well,
it's like it's. I would have said Ant and Dec syndrome, but I don't know which one of us would crash their car and divorce.
I think we know who is more likely to do those things. Well,
I'll let you decide, folks.
Yeah, so those deep dives might come from just me or Matt.
Yeah.
So if you want to listen to a nasally farmer, listen to my episodes.
I thought that was me.
No, if you want to listen to a nasally farmer, listen
Number
to
2.
Matt's episodes.
See, that's the thing. Like, we might be from, I don't know how many miles away our hometowns are, but in relative terms, both of them are farming country.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, my family were farmers. I myself am not.
No.
But
he says that. You should see the array of carrots growing in the back garden.
Lovely. I've got to have some lunch. No, we're just both from farming parts of the country.
Yeah.
Other stuff though, we want to do
totally off topic. Of course,
reactions to things, reactions to trailers and other stuff.
Yes.
We have dabbled in that.
Yeah.
But things went wrong and they became outdated.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
We want to do stuff like top 10s. That could also be solo videos. I think that's probably better.
I think we just want to show our creative hand.
Yeah, we just want to
go about things.
Make more content.
Yeah.
On a whole.
Yeah. Because it's that, or dead end job for the rest of our life. This is our last hope.
We'll see where the degree takes us.
See where the degree takes us. To the job centre.
Well, right.
But we want to push forward with some things, and now we 100%. have a consistent allotted time.
Yeah.
To be able to do this, we have got more of an opportunity to really
to expand the content,
to really get our fingers into some pie, which is probably really against the government's current advice.
Well, we were trying to get a podcast host earlier. We had to tick whether our podcast is explicit or not.
Yeah,
we debated it.
It's been 7 minutes, and I don't think I've sworn yet.
Well, I have, but sort of putting fingers in pies.
Did you? What did you say?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think I did.
See, I regularly have conversations with my mother because I'm a wonderful son, and she says, "Oh, I need to listen to the last podcast episode," and I wonder what she does think of me after, because I say some things which probably border on the realms of right. Okay, where's
misconduct?
Yes, let's put it that way. And I haven't had any papers in the post saying that she is disowning me yet, which is a good sign. So I'm in aid of making myself far more employable and stand out to all number of fantastic producers that listen to this wonderful podcast. I'm going to cut down my swearing.
That's fantastic news. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Talking of producing, that brings us into the main topic of today's podcast.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Today, we're going to talk about films and television that we'd like to see revived. Now, if you listen to the last episode, my friend Jared gave us the idea for that one. He also gave us the idea for this one. So thank you again.
Jared's really holding up this podcast.
Jared, for the past couple of episodes, Jared has been tantamount.
We don't
Paramount.
That's
Paramount.
What did you say? Tantamount. I want that. Can you give a definition to that?
I thought that films and television that we'd like to see revived.
Yeah, if you by the way, open it up to the audience. So, Mother, if you would like to request anything for us to talk about, because we are open to requests all the time. Whether you subconsciously listen to the show, know one of us, or anything like that. Do we have an email?
We have
an email.
It's just 2 tickets at Gmail, I believe.
Well, if you want to email the podcast anything exciting or anything intriguing,
2 tickets.
Feel free to do so.
2 tickets podcast at gmail.com.
Wow. Remember to get in touch
address.
with that. I'm sure we'll get very many correspondence.
I think we'll get hate mail.
Do you?
Yes.
I think I would quite. Do you know what? I've published blogs and stuff like that, and I've never had hate mail yet.
Lovely. Well,
so if anyone wants to give me my first piece of hate mail, I'm not sure what it would be. I think it's probably something to do with maybe my voice. But there we go.
Right. So, films and television that we'd like to see revived. I'm going to start.
Yes, you are.
With Batman. Now,
are we fighting over this now?
No, you can make a case later why you'd like to see it.
Build your defense.
You'd like to see Batman franchise's end.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Live action Batman series, not Gotham, because Gotham is shit.
Well, see, this is the thing. When you said about a series, I just think of like Gotham and Supergirl and all of these things that look so incredibly bad because television doesn't get the same sort of budget.
But hear me out.
I will.
A DC series, yes, The Flash and Supergirl and all that aren't great, but Robert Pattinson's Batman, I think they should. Obviously, they're doing a film, but in a perfect universe, I would have that as their flagship TV series.
Right. So are you talking like almost in their Disney Plus sort of way?
Yeah, they need to throw the money at that instead of a film. Because Robert Pattinson's a huge actor, huge name. And yes, they could have the DCEU, but that's a fucking mess. There's already 2 Batmans. There's, all these spin-offs that I doubt everyone has seen because they're not very good.
Yeah, well,
with Justice League. Justice League, I'm sorry, was an abject failure. It was.
Yeah, there is. I've seen some DCEU films in my time, and I've erased them all from my conscious memory.
I enjoyed one of them purely because I saw it in the cinema.
Which one
was that? That was Batman v Superman.
Oh, okay, you saw that. I've not actually seen that.
The concept of the film is awesome. The some of the character work is awesome. But the story is just garbage. They ruined it.
I hated Ben Affleck as Batman.
See, I liked Ben Affleck as Batman because I like Ben Affleck.
But it was Matt Smith syndrome for me. I never got behind Matt Smith when he was Doctor Who, even though I now retrospectively see that he was quite a good one. Simply because I had such an attachment to David Tennant, and with Christian Bale as Batman, I don't think that could have been, and probably still can't be topped in my eyes.
So I think they should sort of take this opportunity with Robert Pattinson as a reset for future DCEU films and properties.
Yeah.
By making this their flagship TV series, put a flag in it, have that take the DCEU forward. Not do it like Gotham, because I'm sorry, Gotham is too goofy and just not very good as a whole.
See, I've never seen Gotham, so I can't pass comment, but I've seen plenty of clips taking the piss out of it. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that would be a better way than to start off.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how they're going to handle him being recast, if they're even going to mention it in any way at all.
I think it's just going to be start anew, isn't it? It's
well,
rinse,
I do hope
repeat.
so, but I feel like they should use this opportunity to, because having a TV series opens up so much more opportunities for people who are already in the DCU to come into it in different stages and stuff, and also more villains, more time for Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah.
Well, if he wants to be Batman for a period of time.
It's not like Batman series don't work. You look at like the animated series; they are.
The animated series of Batman is one of the best animated series.
Yeah, exactly. It's considered one of the best TV shows there is in general. But I think, where cartoons obviously differentiate from real life. As most sad human beings know, including myself, is that everything pales by comparison. So you can't have in a cartoon having Batman beat the living crap out of Scarecrow in a hyper-real dream. Would be quite achievable, but in live action, it would probably look quite clunky. Probably look a little bit.
I don't know, the Spider-Man fighting Mysterio, if we're taking the dream concept, in Far From Home looked amazing.
Yeah, but would a television program get the same amount of money?
This is what I'm saying. I think they should give it a Game of Thrones like budget,
right?
And make it like that.
We all know what happened with Game of Thrones. Well, actually, I say we all know what happened with Game of Thrones. One of us knows what happens with Game of Thrones, and others.
I liked the last season.
Did you?
It had a lot of issues, yeah. But the ending itself, I myself enjoyed.
What actually was the ending of Game of Thrones?
Sort of every fan favourite character sort of had their own special little ending.
Their special
a lot of people were angry Jon Snow didn't become king, but it just didn't make sense.
Who did become king?
Bran Stark.
Right. I'd love to know which one that was. I can't pretend to know.
The one Jaime pushed out the window in the first episode.
Oh right, yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Wow. So that really does come full circle.
Yeah.
How many series is Game of Thrones? Other than too many, which would be the correct answer.
8 or 9. I'm not too sure.
But the problem I have, and this is the problem I have with most television programs, which is probably going to link into something I'll say later. Sometimes they just go on for too long.
The first one that springs to mind is Big Bang Theory. That went on for about 4 seasons too long.
Yeah. I mean, American series have it worse because obviously they have about 20 odd episodes in a series, and they just go absolutely mental.
Friends
with
made
the whole
it past
thing.
the first episode somehow.
Well, this is another thing. Like you look at television series that you do enjoy, and then you look at maybe episodes. Sherlock is a fantastic example of this. The first season, and then it just got far too clever for its own good, and just became a flop.
No, the first 3 series are quite good.
Yeah,
and then series 4, I
yeah.
just forget about.
And they took
forgettable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you in a way, but as one of my counterpoints we'll make later, I will save my defense.
The bottom line is make Batman a Game of Thrones type budget TV show using Robert Pattinson as the platform to take the DCEU forward, because it has potential, but they're wasting it. They've wasted it for the past 8 years.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, everyone that's tried to make a cinematic universe has tried to copy what Marvel did, but tried to do it in half the time, which is proven to not work. If you want to build something that feels vast and feels so interconnected and almost has value, you almost have to have these totally forgettable films in the middle, like Ant-Man. Even though Ant-Man is a forgettable film, Ant-Man in the larger ensemble films is an important character, an important plot point. There are things that, what the DCEU films lack is that understanding that you need to have other characters other than Batman, Superman, and somebody else.
It's not Ant-Man's not a bad film. It just is quite forgettable.
It's forgettable, but that in isolation, that's totally fine, because films not every single Marvel Cinematic Universe film that they produce is going to be killer and is going to be exciting and fun, and you remember everything and you come out thinking, wow, that was a hoot. Sometimes you're going to come out and thinking, what did I just watch? Like Venom.
Yeah.
Somehow that's going to connect in, and it's God, I can't wait for Venom. Venom 2 trailer should definitely be the first reaction trailer, just so I can hear you scream Venom at the top of your
I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it.
No. But yeah, what's your first film and television show that you'd like to see revive?
Well, Dan, this is probably counteracting the point that I just made, but this is purely because I have an affliction with this television program that I cannot possibly rationalise. I don't know if you have ever been exposed to the BBC series of Robin Hood.
I think so, but a very long time ago.
Yeah. It quickly became the bulk of my childhood, to the point where I believed I actually was Robin Hood. I didn't live in the woods, I still lived at home, and I didn't give any money to the poor because I didn't have any. So I was very much Robin Hood on an aesthetic level, other than anything else. I would just love to see it come back for the fun of it, even though, which is a spoiler for anyone who I'm about to encourage to go and watch it on BBC iPlayer, Robin Hood does actually die at the end of Robin Hood.
Well, there we are.
So it probably can't come back, but this is effectively I've just low-blowed and undermined my own point. However, I would just like to see. Maybe what I'm arguing is that I would like to see a good Robin Hood TV series. Sure. I've seen the Russell Crowe Robin Hood film. I've seen the Taron Egerton Robin Hood film recently. Both are totally passable. Both are absolutely nothing even akin to Robin Hood that I know.
Yeah.
Like Men in Tights and all that sort of goofy business. I would just like to see a nice sort of Robin Hood series in which, I don't know, it's simple. I like those sort of old-timey dramas, and I don't know if you've seen the Taron Egerton Robin Hood film.
No, I've seen the Russell Crowe one. I enjoyed it. I haven't seen the Taron at all. I do like him as an actor, so I might.
It's on Netflix if you're interested. But it's a film that tries to put Robin Hood in almost like a modernized world, and it just feels a bit clunky and looks a bit stupid as well. So I would honestly just like to see a Robin Hood series that reminds me of the beauty of because that the classic Robin Hood BBC series had such a superb cast as well, and everyone was cast really well. So I think there is definitely potential.
Yeah, 100%.
For something like that in there.
I'd probably watch that, to be honest. I feel like I have seen the TV series. I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah. It's on BBC iPlayer. Thankfully, the BBC have seen sense and thought, actually, we should put a lot of our content back onto our website so people can watch it again, because nobody is buying DVD box sets anymore. So you might as well stick it on iPlayer, give somebody something that's worth their license fee.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I would just like to see something like that come back. You can't revive Robin Hood unless they literally revive Robin Hood. But I'd just like to see something that's a bit more, I don't know, something with a bit of charm and a bit of humour, and that's sometimes dramatic and fun.
As does happen with some of the BBC series, like Merlin, for example.
Merlin's fantastic, and it follows on the same trend that Robin Hood does. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's a bit dark.
It's a bit goofy, exactly. But also there are dark points.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows what it is, and it was that classic Saturday night 7:00 slot.
Yeah,
which is now obviously reserved for I don't know, Strictly Come Dancing, like
fuming with that
one, or game shows. That seems to be something else. Everyone wants a game show on a Saturday night. No, give a drama for children.
I might rewatch Merlin. I love Merlin.
I have watched
Merlin.
It's
on Netflix as well.
Yeah, it is. It's a superb.
How many
program.
series are there? 3.
It's 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not. But again, a program that I don't know didn't outlast its welcome, like Robin Hood, which is why it's fond for me as well.
Okay, so the next film or television series that I'd like to see revived, Game of Thrones spin-off.
Ooh.
Now.
There is something like that happening, isn't it?
See, well nobody's sure anymore. From what I can gather, it got cancelled, but it might have been revived again. But here's the thing: Game of Thrones cancelling out the last season because a lot of people hated it. Very much took its time with the characters and the stories and all of that. Went very slow with it. How a TV show should go.
Yeah.
Built the world in an excellent way.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read the books. There's, as is with, books to TV shows.
They aren't finished yet.
No, a lot of people say,
which is baffling.
A lot of people say the books are way better, and they don't even watch the TV show. And then some people watch the TV show and then don't even bother with the books. I tried with the books, but I started with the TV show. The books aren't bad.
How does that work? How can you conclude a television program when the source material is not concluded?
They worked with the author.
Right. So,
but the TV show is vastly different to the books.
So if the author's got any sense, he will see the backlash to the television series and say, "Well, I'm not writing that ending," and write something totally different. Underhand HBO.
I think his ending is different anyway because of the differences the book has to the TV shows. But no, I think it's they'd be wasting a lot of potential if they didn't make a Game of Thrones spin-off. Whether that be with some of the characters from the original continuity or not, you having that world there and not using the potential is just stupid.
Well, this is very much like the Harry Potter thing. It took me a long time to watch all the Harry Potter films and understand and appreciate them, and I think it would take me probably the similar amount of time to appreciate and understand Game of Thrones. But I see it in the sense. So, I mean, this is stupid Matt talking. You've been listening to him for the past 25 minutes. What happens at the end of Game of Thrones? Is there like a massive battle? Is there like...
Yes, but then there's, the bit after.
So from what I saw of the last series through clips that they reacted to on Gogglebox, was the blonde girl on a dragon burning a city.
That did happen, though.
Yes. So from your point of a Game of Thrones spin-off, trying to look at it with my writer's head on, could you not have something which continues the continuity from the perspective of maybe someone that got caught up in that?
Well, yeah, you could 100% keep the world,
Yeah,
and focus on a different character.
yeah,
Of course, but I think they should just leave it alone.
yeah.
They should leave that original story, that 8 or 9 seasons, alone.
Yeah.
And then prequel. The prequel is what is in the works, and I think they should, because George R. Martin has written prequel books, and I think they should focus on those.
Yeah, well, I think it's like when I was making the Harry Potter comparison, the Fantastic Fantastic Beasts. Let's not use J.K. Rowling's sense of, hi, I'm going to rewrite my entire continuity so you don't actually understand.
Quickly. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Carry on.
Oh dear. I'm still impressed. I've made it 26 minutes and 21 seconds without swearing. See how long that lasts. So, I think I agree with you. They have a vast world, and they need to do something with it. What that something is, I don't know. But it's obviously they shot themselves in the foot, because if they'd finished the television program on such a high, there would have been more demand for this.
Yeah, of course.
But people have almost had sour milk, and they're a bit like, I don't know if I want to see.
It goes poorly. It goes well. I mean, Star Wars. A lot of people. I haven't myself seen 8 or 9. No. I've seen 7.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that the last 3 films in that original sort of saga, the Skywalker saga. People don't like the last couple because of various reasons.
Yeah.
But 7 was sort of well received. They could do it well, they could do it badly, but the thing is, there's a lot of potential for it, and I think they should go for it. It would make money.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars, I say it was, people didn't like it, but they still made fucking loads of money. So
well, that's it. I feel like because of the effect it had on some people's childhoods, Star Wars is this sacred sort of thing, and if it isn't exactly how they believe it should be, then they will lambast it to high heaven. I would hate to be someone with the responsibility to write a Star Wars film. Yeah. I just feel like that's a poison chalice that you're never going to, no matter how much fan service you push into something like that, you are never going to...
That was the issue, I think that was one of the issues with the last one, there was too much fan service.
Yes.
But I think there's a lot of potential for a Game of Thrones spin-off, and I don't think they should... From the last thing I heard was that they cancelled it. I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
And I came across an outdated article or something, but...
There's definitely unexplored areas, because
there's want for it as well. I definitely watch it.
Yeah, especially if it was something that almost felt like it corrected the mistakes the television series left people on. Due to time constraints, I'm not going to mention my second one on there, which is the IT Crowd, and I love it. But maybe that I can't really expand on that, other than I'd love to just see everyone come back and do another special or something like that. But I'm going to skip to the one that I desperately want to see revived, which is the Fantastic Four. I don't even know why, because I'm not a massive reader of comics, but I have this. My favourite characters in the Marvel world are the Fantastic Four, and all of the people that come with them, like Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom, all of Galactus, people like that. That world is so much more interesting to me than, say, Captain America, just because I like that sort of... Oh my god, Dan's gonna hit something.
I can't believe you just said that.
I watched the films that they did however many years ago it was, and they were quite something to behold.
Are we talking the Miles Teller, Michael B. Jordan ones?
God,
or
no!
The fucking
no, the Chris Evans ones I'm talking about.
Oh dear me.
Those ones, which were quite, but I think that's where I get my connection to them from. And as I've gotten older, I've read a lot more. They are okay. The other one with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller is horrendous, and generally the worst film I've ever seen in the cinema.
Great actors though.
Great actors. Terrible film. Terrible writing. Just about everything about that film was atrocious. But now, as we all know, Disney have loosened the purse strings, for want of a better word, and have bought Fox for a measly sum of however many $1 billion it was, 60 odd billion.
Yeah.
So now they have the rights to these characters, to the Fantastic Four, and they have the rights to everything that comes with them. And if you are pushing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe to not go stale, which it very much has an opportunity of doing, I look at the next few slates of films that they have done, or at least the next phase of films that I know they are producing, and I think, okay, nothing really excites me. Doctor Strange excites me. Am I excited by... Yeah, Thor. Am I excited by the possibility of Shang-Chi? I don't know a lot about Shang-Chi.
I don't care.
I'm not excited about the television programs unless they do something with them that's interesting. What people are hanging on is the fact that they have an opportunity to bring in the X-Men and bring in the Fantastic Four into their cinematic universe. If they are doing away with the Avengers and doing away with Stark and Captain America and everyone that comes with that original group, they need to go ahead and bring in characters that are just as iconic and can easily replace them, because I don't think you can replace Tony Stark with Wanda. You can't. It just doesn't have the same effect, there isn't the same connection to characters like Doctor Strange either, and not yet anyway. And I feel like that has to be, if you can't earn that because you don't have enough time before your cinematic universe potentially hits some rocks, because Endgame did feel like a natural end for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and obviously it's going to continue. It makes a shit ton of money. They just spent all this money to effectively get a few characters. They have lots of opportunity, and they need to pull the trigger on that, I think, sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what they'll end up doing is they will pull the trigger too quickly, have a badly written film, and fall into the DC EU trap, in which people are like, this just feels nothing like it was before.
100%.
But I just want to see the Fantastic Four because I bloody love them, and I'd love to see John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
I think that will happen. I think even John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, I think that will happen.
Yeah, I think it's more of
it's really good casting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
doable.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not often dream casting is actually doable. I've seen
people saying Zac Efron as Johnny Storm. I've seen people say Emily Blunt as
Zac Efron's not bad. Wouldn't be a bad choice.
No, I don't. Who you cast to be Zac the thing?
Efron's a good actor.
He's definitely, he would fit in a superhero film because he is a buff gentleman who's also got a good sense of humour.
Yeah.
When you don't put him with Seth Rogen.
Who would be a good thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, no one springs to mind.
I think you'd be a good thing. You make a lot of sort of
large and orange.
No, I think your grunts would be really akin to that. Exactly.
Yeah, if you spent,
you could do like the screen tests.
If you've spent any sort of length of time with me, you'll know that sometimes
things just happen.
Sometimes I don't forget. I just
you neglect the civilized world.
Yes, I neglect to speak and just grunt. it's
yeah. But
despite hosting a podcast,
yes,
I don't talk that much outside of having to talk.
No, Dan has sort of two default settings. You have this if you're talking like in a class or if you're talking on the podcast, you have this very sort of, you're very eloquent and you're very well put.
Oh, thank you.
And then when nobody's talking to you and you're on your own, it's like
I'll just grunt at people.
It's like, what's going on? Because it's like, is he okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just don't like speaking for that.
Yeah, which is totally understandable. Somebody else that grunts. What a fantastic segue. Dan, who else would you like to see revived?
Oh, well, because, time and all that business, we don't want to make this too long. I just want to quickly mention The Punisher. The Punisher is the Marvel series that went so well.
Yeah.
The Punisher is awesome. And that's, John Bernthal. And I don't remember his name. The one who plays the villain.
I know who you mean, yeah.
Ben, I think it's Ben something.
Escapes me.
He was in a BBC drama fairly recently. It was quite.
Yes,
good.
he was.
It was Gold Digger.
Gold Digger, that's the one. Yes, I knew it.
Gold Digger was quite good. Yeah. The characters in that are awesome, very really good. The story is amazing, and they did tie it up nicely at the end of series 2.
Yeah.
It did get cancelled, and I have no idea why, because it's so good.
I get the feeling that it got cancelled because Disney wanted to pull all their stuff from Netflix, and they want to do their own thing.
I think it was also to do with the not so warm reception to the other Marvel
none of them really got off the ground. Shows.
Luke Cage, the first season was good. Jessica Jones, the first season was good. Iron Fist was a failure, and then The Defenders was again a failure. But The Punisher was amazing. They did wrap up nicely, but they wrapped up nicely. But there could very easily be a series 3.
Yeah, 100%. And I think when we were talking about the Batman series earlier, I suppose in the same vein as The Punisher, if they didn't want to do too many over-the-top things, they could quite easily make quite a gruff and low-budget version. Well, because The Punisher, I would imagine, doesn't have a vast amount of money put to it. But because it doesn't have CGI in it, like, The Punisher doesn't have a massive glowing fist. Like, it works. He's just a man that carries guns and puts on what are they called? Bulletproof vest. And he's just a bit of a machine, really. And I think that works.
He's not a super soldier. This is what made it interesting to me. He's not a super soldier. He doesn't have any powers. He's just a highly driven soldier who is very apt at what he does.
Very angry man.
He's just grunts.
Yeah.
The scene where he finds Billy Russo for the first time when he gets out of the car and he just screams Russo at him. Or no, it's just a guttural grunt at him. It's amazing.
I think the best part of the Punisher is the first series when they're in the carousel.
Yes,
he's just smacking his head against the ground. Yeah, but it really does work and it's really effective.
Yeah, Punisher amazing. I'd love to see a new season of that with John Bernthal, obviously.
Yeah, I think he was the top.
Madani was awesome. Billy Russo.
Yeah.
But did Billy die?
I can't remember.
I don't remember. But either way,
it's been a while since I revisited that series.
Definitely watch it if you haven't, because it's amazing.
Let's switch it up, and let's go the other way around. Because if there's nothing that we don't love more than a good switcheroo on the Two Tickets podcast.
We seem to do it in every episode, so let's do it with this one.
You could call it a gimmick.
You could, yeah.
Do we have a gimmick? Probably not.
No, but, 2 tickets. Yeah, there's two of us.
Two of us. That's very true.
2 different arguments.
2 different arguments. Sometimes 3, depending on time constraints.
Yeah, of course.
And now we're flipping it around, in a wonderful way to talk about things that we'd like to see end.
Yeah. Do you wanna start, or should I?
Sure. I'm gonna just jump in and say do you know what? Because it's probably fresh in the people's minds. I'm going to counteract your Batman argument.
I'm interested.
I am fed up of people ruining Batman. When we had the Dark Knight trilogy, we had something that should have been... I know it was very successful. I know it made a lot of money. I know it was critically acclaimed, and I know everyone had this newfound love for Batman. However, that was taken full advantage of. They, in my opinion, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks it, I know people like Ben Affleck. I'm sorry, Ben Affleck.
Fucking Ben Affleck.
I think they missed the mark with the cast because it was so far away from what Christian Bale was.
You've seen Good Will Hunting.
Also, yes, no, and I'm
amazing.
Not, but I wouldn't look at him and say, oh yeah, that's Batman. I would look at him and say, that is Ben Affleck. He should be in a 80s film, sat in a car. Now, my problem is as well, I don't know, I'm just sick and tired of Batman media in general. And I love Batman.
Yeah.
Every single thing about Batman I thoroughly enjoy. All of his ensemble of villains, and everything that comes with Batman.
Yeah.
But currently, I'm just a little bit sick of the Batman in present day. If they did something along the lines of The Dark Knight, in the sense that it was set like however many hundreds of years ago, as the horse riding Batman against whoever it might be, rather than the man with a million gadgets who's got loads of money, who can do whatever he wants in his massive car that wouldn't get down the M25 because it'd take up all 3 lanes. I would be more interested in that. I'd love to see a Batman film in which he rides around on horseback and is a sword wielding,
that's an interesting
mercenary.
Concept. I do like it.
For me, and I mean, this new slate of Batman films might be fantastic. Robert Pattinson might be. We should write
a throwback Batman film.
Robert Pattinson might be fantastic, and I might eat my words, and I'm willing to, because I really want Batman to be a successful character again, but I can't see a way forward.
I do see where you're coming from. The Dark Knight trilogy made me love comic book movies. The Dark Knight trilogy is what made me, move on to Marvel and start to love comic book movies. Christian Bale as Batman is my favourite casting in any comic book media, because I think it's so perfect. I like Ben Affleck. I liked Ben Affleck as Batman in Batman v Superman. The other films, not so much. From all of the others. the DCEU as a whole is not very good. But yeah, him in Batman v Superman was good.
Because this will be our. I'm trying to be as broad as possible. This would be maybe the 4th Batman in 4 decades.
Something like that.
You've had Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. You've had Michael Keaton, Adam West. You've got George Clooney was Batman for that horrendous.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
There is
Jack Nicholson. No, Jack Nicholson was Joker. Who was it? Michael Keaton. Sorry, you said that. Yeah.
The amount of Batmen you've had is a bit like. Oh, I don't know.
If you're discounting, I think at the end of Gotham he appears in the Batman suit.
God, I don't know. And of course, you've got like the Arkham games, which are a total. They're nice because they're unique. Gotham in
the Arkham games are quite good.
Yeah, and Gotham in the Arkham games is so much better even than what the Dark Knight trilogy puts out. In the sense of the world.
Oh,
maybe not.
Gotham.
Not in terms of narrative. Not in terms of narrative. Genuinely, such a shocked look on your face.
The Dark Knight trilogy is untouched in terms of, comic trilogies.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I personally didn't get on too well with Batman Begins, but Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Out of pure reflex, I almost punched my laptop when you said that. Batman Begins is a fantastic film.
I'm not a fan of Liam Neeson. But anyway, that's a totally different conversation. As Dan once again enters shock.
My eyes.
But yeah, that's my
not like Liam Neeson.
That's my argument against Batman. But I'm going to take you to something now, which I think is going to break your heart to say this. Actually,
this
was originally my idea, but you pinched it.
I did.
But you're much more of a. I feel like certainly a recent fan as well.
I feel like I'm far more qualified.
Oh yeah, massively.
To talk about this. Doctor Who. I want to see it end.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Save it.
What, permanently?
Listen, when they cancelled it the first time in the 90s, and then, they made that TV movie, which has, it was, American TV movie. It's mixed reviews, we'll say. And then they brought it back with Christopher Eccleston, and it worked. There was, absence, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yep. People loved it when it came back. Now, this whole thing with Jodie Whittaker being cast as a new Doctor, if you are a fan of Doctor Who, you know that Time Lords can regenerate into women. That wasn't that was a problem for ignorant casuals.
Yeah,
it wasn't a problem for me because Jodie Whittaker is a fantastic actor.
Yeah,
and I hoped, this would signal a new era, and Chris Chibnall. I have prior opinions to Chris Chibnall, which did not make me hopeful. But I
saw a lot of that. I saw that when Jodie Whittaker was cast and Chris Chibnall was continuing to be or coming on, whatever it was,
he came on.
A lot of people were like, I'm not familiar with Chris Chibnall. I've not watched any of the recent Doctor Who stuff.
Has worked on Doctor Who in the past and it's been okay. But listen, as a showrunner for Doctor Who, he's not good. He's not.
I think the problem is from the best Doctor Who episodes that I saw. I watched it up until probably midway through Matt Smith, and then I've almost felt like I grew out of it. I was obsessed with when David Tennant was there.
Yeah.
And I think when you had people like Russell T Davies, who was so passionate about Doctor Who, and even seen all of the original stuff, and wanted to bring that charm back, it really worked. And again, I can't comment on it. When I see that Bradley Walsh is a side character in Doctor Who, I'm like, right, okay, what's going on? I smell a rat.
Now, with Jodie and Chris, it's too goofy. The storylines aren't good. She is a confused Doctor, not in a good way. She's not a conflicted Doctor. She's just an amalgam. She's written like an amalgamation of every Doctor that's come before her.
Every single scene or clip I have seen from Doctor Who is that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is stood there either frowning or asking a question. She's not a pragmatic Doctor from what I've seen.
She is a fantastic actor, and it hurts me to say that she's not a good Doctor. She's not. She hasn't been written as a good Doctor.
No. An actor's at the end of the day, an actor in most roles, unless they are pioneering and will just throw the script out completely, which 100%. Probably they aren't allowed to do, because she's trying not to get the sack, are only as good as the way that they're being written.
The ratings are the lowest they've been for a very long time. I think it needs to go away for a little bit.
Yeah, it's in a bit of a perilous state, I feel.
Bring it back with a new Doctor, new showrunner, and try again before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because it's not, this new experiment has not gone well with Chris Chibnall. It just hasn't.
And I think from I don't know, I agree with you a lot with what you were saying about the ignorance of casual fans when Jodie Whittaker was.
That's not the issue.
But I think people simply because of their ignorance turned off, and I think maybe in hindsight it was the wrong move, as much as because now you're going to get people saying, well, when a woman was a Doctor, that didn't work, did it? They cancelled the show. I almost feel like they can't cancel the show because they backed themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I think that's what they've done. Yeah. But people will get over that because Doctor Who has such a passion. I'm very passionate about Doctor Who. I'm not caught up, I'll admit, because I just don't want to watch it anymore. Because it's not compelling, it's not interesting, it's not even entertaining to me anymore. The companions are literally the worst written, most vapid characters I've ever seen in my life.
You will always get people that defend Doctor Who to the high heavens because they are blind faith, and I think we all have something that we're a little bit like that with, but it's probably far too hard to accept that their favourite television programme is stagnating, and needs something drastic. It almost needs that 10-year break so people can, which this is again we all know the world revolves around money. And we all know every single company in the world wants money and needs money. And until there are some sort of financial implications in place, Doctor Who loses the BBC more money than maybe it makes. Unfortunately, that's the only point where we'll see a decision like that made.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to pull the trigger when they know that that's still a massive lucrative franchise. So you almost do need to run the ringer and say, right, what do we do?
Think the long game.
Yeah, exactly. It's short-term loss because what you do is you jeopardize. You have the possibility of losing that franchise entirely, and people just switching off and thinking, this just isn't for me. Like yourself, someone who's very passionate about Doctor Who, but it's no longer. Not for me anymore. Yeah, exactly. No longer sees it no longer holds it in that sort of high regard.
Yeah, I still watch reruns from old Doctors because it's so much better than it is now. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, Doctor Who. I feel like a tear formed in your eyes there, Dan.
I need to be quiet for a little bit.
Well, let me entertain you with something. Sorry, I'm not Robbie Williams. Let me talk about something that is horrendous and something that makes my skin crawl. Ooh. As someone who wants to write, as someone who likes writing, as someone who's read an awful lot of scripts, for the life of me, I cannot understand why Disney keep commissioning live-action remakes of their classic cartoons. I'm sure this is a topic that we've covered before in great depth, so I will be as quick as I possibly can on this. But every single live-action Disney remake that they have made, bar Maleficent, which was an original story, a spin-off from whatever that film is. What's that film? Is it Cinderella? Not Cinderella. It's Sleeping Beauty, I think.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, they have missed the mark on every single live-action remake. I cannot think of a live-action remake they have made which has either been received well or has even been a success. Actually, the only one they've made that I've enjoyed was Jungle Book, but that's because they changed the story somewhat. The ones, like I was telling you about the Mary Poppins Returns thing, I know that's a sequel, sort of, but that's just shit. 50 minutes and 59 seconds. That's how long I lasted before.
There we go.
Before my first swear, which is that's the longest I've gone in a long time. Dumbo. I don't know. I'll let my mum decide. Text me, mum. Is it a swear word? Dumbo was bad. Let's think of some other. Lion King, universally received as bad. Why bother? Why bother making something live action which is still animated, the most part, because it's animals. Unless you're going to put like a live elephant in there or something. Ooh. Like, right, okay. Disney has a strand at the moment. They have two separate entities, but they exist under the same bracket. But because they are such a monopoly, they can do whatever they like. They know the Marvel films make them enough money. They know whenever they release a Pixar film, the kids will go and see it in their mounds. They had Toy Story 4 to back up all of their losses this year. They've had Avengers Endgame, which have backed up all their losses this year. They have lost money, I think, or at least have struggled to make profit on the live-action remakes that they have made. They are trying to tap into a nostalgia which probably isn't even old enough yet for people to be nostalgic about. I remember Lion King from when I was a kid, but I'm not nostalgic when they bring it back and the same guy voices Mufasa. Sure. I can't. It baffles me that they continually do it, and they are soulless, and I don't know how many more that we've got to go through. The one that I do sort of want to see, just to see how disturbing it would be, is Pinocchio. Oh God! I think that would be the most disturbing live-action film ever, especially if they had the turning into the donkey scene, which is the most terrifying thing I think I've ever seen. I myself am scared of dolls. Okay. I've been catatonically afraid of dolls my entire life. Really? Yeah. I don't think that's unusual. I think a lot of people probably. Yeah. So like I would that a Pinocchio live action would, I wouldn't see that. No, I don't know. I feel like they just put Tim Burton on it and say, right, there you go. Ooh. But put Tim Burton on anything, going to be good, in my opinion. But only he did the Dumbo film. I'm pretty sure he did the Dumbo live action remake. I just think they need to have a rethink. But this is probably the confirmation that Disney has no original ideas, because all of their original ideas are going into other franchises that they obviously care more about. Their bulk of good writers work for Pixar, or they work for Marvel, or they work for someone that isn't Disney. Their own brand studio productions in recent years have been nothing short of pathetic and embarrassing. Yeah. And as someone, I've never had that much of, I'm not a Disney fanatic at all, but I enjoy and see the charm in all of the films that they produce. Sure. I can't, this is why that's why I'm very sort of tentative to even entertain the idea of getting Disney Plus and stuff like that, because I just can't see the quality in what they are producing warrants money going to them. No. But then again, I'll probably end up getting it, and I'll eat my words because I am part of the corporate machine. Yeah. Dan, hit us with your. Here we go. Well, I don't think this you'll be a 2 tickets podcast if I don't mention horror films at least once, which I don't think I have yet. But anyway, franchises that I'd like to see end. I want people to stop making remakes of the classic horror franchises. So they tried it with Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. Both came out around 2009, 2010. Listen,
They were okay. They were so okay that they didn't even warrant sequels.
Yeah.
But there was always talk of them. I also have Texas Chainsaw written down because that franchise went on for far too long. If you've seen any Texas Chainsaw past the fourth one, maybe, they're all awful.
Yeah.
A remake came out in 2004, which started 2003 or 4, depending on what country you're from. That started the whole cavalcade of remakes for horror films. That remake's actually quite good.
Yeah.
And that's the only one.
It's something that's striking. I'm going to put on my studious cap here. I'm not actually putting on a hat. They don't suit me. I know that. Okay, so I've read a book called Screenplay by Sid Field, and he in there used to be or was. I don't know, I think he's passed away now. He was a script editor. And he said that in a year he read, or I can't remember what time frame it was, he read 1,000 scripts. Out of that 1,000 scripts, 1,000, no, he read like 10,000 scripts. 1,000 or 100 of those went off to producers. He recommended them. Out of the ones that he recommended, 3, 4, 5 would get produced. Mm. So if there is that much originality, and this ties into what I was saying about the Disney remakes and what you say about horror remakes. If there is that much original idea and creativity in the world that is untapped, why do we have this culture of wanting everything to be made again?
I don't get it, because the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, for example. Okay, if you're a horror fan, Freddy Krueger is Robert Englund.
Yeah.
Robert Englund plays Freddy Krueger. That's it. Done. The remake, Freddy Krueger is the only time... Freddy Krueger was played by a different actor in a scene in one of the old Nightmare films as Super Freddy. I'm not explaining it here. Just please. But the only other time he was played in a major motion picture by a different actor was the remake, and it was Jackie L. Haley who played Rorschach. Not a bad actor at all. Really, really good. But he's not Freddy Krueger. And fans immediately didn't want to watch it because it wasn't Robert Englund. And I feel like the nostalgia that you're trying to build and tap into through making because that remake is essentially a rerun of the first film. Yeah. There's not that much difference in it. There's a few added elements like micro napping, which was actually a good element of the film. The nostalgia that you're trying to tap into doesn't work if Robert Englund as Freddy isn't there, because that's like such a beloved part of the franchise. That he is the franchise, yeah. And if you don't have him, then there is no nostalgia really to tap into. You're just using the name.
And I just think as well, like, when... I'm obviously not overly qualified to talk about horror films. I've seen 1 or 2 in my time. But I think about something that, like Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever it was. When you have these classic films, there is something far more visceral about the way they used to do things. Like... Practical effects. Jaws... If they remade Jaws, it would be with a CG shark who came and bit someone's leg off, and it would be like, oh yeah, that's horrific, but that looks nothing like the
It would look bad.
Yeah, but somehow a big rubber shark, when he comes out of the water when the guy's fishing or whatever he's doing or smoking a cigarette, it's terrifying.
There's a charm to it.
Yeah, exactly. And I always feel like as well with horror films, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also something that adds to them by the goofiness of some of the killings. They don't always have to look real and realistic to be terrifying.
They don't.
Sometimes something ridiculous can happen, like, I don't know, the Scream person throws a knife through a telephone and it goes through someone's bloody forehead. I don't know if that's ever happened, but it should have. But something like that, which is so out of the realms of possibility, can...
That's why people love horror films, because there's a charm to them. People like me, I understand, it doesn't have to... The killings don't have to be realistic. They can be a little goofy, like, come on.
Yeah.
They're not actually being killed.
Because you have to have... There's a sense of self-awareness, isn't there, with stuff like that? Yeah. With everything.
CG really ruins horror films for me.
Yeah.
Practical effects are a necessity if you're making a horror film.
Yeah.
An example, The Thing. They made a prequel in 2011. Used CGI for the Thing and, you know, the killings and stuff. Awful.
Yeah.
The film is okay, but the killings and all the gory bits look terrible. The original Thing, one of the best horror films of all time. All practical effects.
Yeah.
All the effects are fucking amazing.
It's like the first Saw film, which I have actually seen. But, like, you know, their use of effects in that, which is so obviously trying, you know, let's make this look as real as possible with real bear traps and all sorts of things that they use. Let's make that look horrific, because then there is something far more. When you see, it's funny, isn't it? Because you can see a practical effect and it might be the most stupid killing you've ever seen, but it doesn't have a disconnect. But when you see something that's CGI, it immediately takes you out of the reality 100%. Of the film, because then you're not like, oh, that could happen to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same effect, which is why films that are so, you know, even a film like Joker, which isn't a horror film, but because it's so real and doesn't rely on any effects whatsoever, that's where the gritty, visceral reality of it really digs in.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh yeah, that could happen. It's genuine, it's real, and when things look real and feel real, they are far more terrifying.
Yeah, 100%. Being a horror fan and a throwback film fan in general, I have a love for practical effects, and a real hate for CG where it's unnecessary. Like films, you know, comic book films need CG and stuff. I don't feel like horror films do. And in my opinion, the best horror films have practical effects.
Yeah.
And they use Cabin in the Woods, the director of that, openly said no CGI. Because even though that film came out in 2011, where CGI was, you know, at the time very popular, he wanted to use practical effects because he knew that would look way better than anything they could produce with CGI.
And I imagine there will come a time, obviously because of the way that the industry has moved on, you know, when something that struck me when I went to the Harry Potter studios over the last however many weeks ago it was now, was the use of practical effects and just how the craftsmanship behind the things that they created. Exactly. Unfortunately, and I'm not by any means undermining the skill of the people that create CGI models, because that's something beyond the realms of anything I could ever create, but there isn't that same level of charm to seeing like a massive I don't know what's a massive phoenix in Harry Potter, which every single feather is painstakingly stitched onto a skeleton or something like that. You know, something like that has charm. But if now it's just going to be, you know, CGI and all that sort of, exactly. You know, it's why people, I'm trying to think again, like Aardman, for instance, who do all the Wallace and Gromit and stuff like that. If that ever became CGI rather than stop motion, it would lose all its charm and it would lose all its... Yeah, exactly. It's children's programs that have just become CGI because they say, well, we've got these CGI models, we can make so many more episodes because we don't have to do all the stop motion, we don't have to do all the animating, we don't have to put the same level of effort in because we have this stuff as default.
But it just looks so much worse.
Yeah, and it doesn't...
I wish it would stop.
Like Postman Pat. Postman Pat's now got like a massive helicopter that he flies around in.
He's a postman.
Honestly, yeah. And he flies around in a helicopter.
It just doesn't make sense.
No. And I mean, obviously, Postman Pat isn't our main cause of the argument.
No, of course.
But it's examples like that I think is where it's a shame. And obviously, you have to move with the times. And I understand that CGI is the way forward, and sometimes it can look so incredible. And I'm sure over the years it will only get better. But I do also feel like as well it will all come full circle, and people will say, well, we want to use realistic effects, we want to use practical effects, but there won't be the people on hand with the craftsmanship and skills to be able to produce.
Unfortunately, them. Yeah. But no, that turned into a CGI mess.
Yeah.
Obviously, we ourselves don't have the necessary abilities.
No. I can barely
kind of
put like a shelf together.
There's
So let's not talk about. I'm not by any means undermining what they do.
No,
but
of course.
I just think I think there is a level that that sometimes gets crossed, and I think it's more so with, for me anyway, it's more so when you partner live action with CGI that it can become really clunky.
Yeah,
and look
there's
wrong.
There's such a disconnect there.
Yeah,
but if it's got bad CGI,
unless it's self-aware. Like the other day, I was telling you, I watched Okja, which is a fantastic film, and the animal in it is a giant CGI pig. Basically, it looks like a massive CGI hippo, but because the film is self-aware enough, it doesn't linger on that fact. It keeps you very much involved. The interactions between the human and the CGI character are cleverly done, and it doesn't look like something that's out of place.
Yeah,
it's a dark comedy essentially, and using CGI in that context works, but I feel like when you're trying to take yourself seriously, so for instance, compare the use of creatures in the original Harry Potter films compared to how they use them in the Fantastic Beasts. There is not that same level of charm because it doesn't look real.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, again, no offense to CGI people.
No.
Love you lots.
Yeah.
Just sew some feathers, guys.
Well, I mean, that's the end of the list.
That's the end of the list. Probably
Therefore,
it's probably a nice place to end it as well, unless you have a tangent you wanna spin on.
I don't think so. I mean, we're gonna try and get this episode uploaded to things such as Spotify. If you are listening on Spotify and you've made it to the end, and it has been a success, and you've made it to the end of this podcast, if we can't get our past episodes on there, and you would like to, just check us out on YouTube. It's 2 Tickets podcast, fairly easy, same name, all that.
We have a plethora of.
We do. We have five episodes currently up.
5 episodes.
If we can't get this on Spotify and we're still on YouTube, we love YouTube.
That means is this our 6th episode?
6, yes.
There's probably near 7.5 hours of content of me and you talking.
There is,
which,
yeah.
If you want to
well, 10 if you count sort of unreleased and sort of failed episodes.
That's like a whole night's sleep for some people. So if you would rather not sleep,
I got a solid 9 hours last night.
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
I think I got about 7. Rough night.
Matt's got to go to bed.
I got to go to bed. What's the time?
Shattered.
It's 25 to 2.
25 to 2. Go to bed. Absolutely shattered.
But I feel like this went quite well. I swore once. How many times did you swear? I don't know. We should have like a counter and see who's worse.
I'm not editing that. Absolutely not.
Well, I think that's a good place.
Yeah,
good place to part ways. Hopefully, you'll be hearing from us again next week. And all of those ideas that we spoke about, if they don't happen, just blame anyone but me and Dan.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.